See them now? The wild Arizona goji berry. These things suddenly take on profound importance because all of a sudden it's an experience where you go to like, oh, I'm going to have this wild food. It's an experience. I saw a lot of people today eating Java plums and going, whoa, this is like an experience. It's a wild food experience. That's not, it's untended. It's got a different energy completely, different information totally. And that is the energy that's really going to connect us to what's going on because the earth is the most conscious thing going. So if we connect to the earth directly, what's really going on for the earth, whoa, something really happens. Next category beyond seaweed is superfoods. In my opinion, the two top superfoods in the world, at least as I understand it right now, one of them is goji berry. You want to see what a goji berry bush looks like? Yeah. Goji bush in the Arizona desert without leaves. They have no leaves part of the year. I'll show you what they look like with leaves. Goji bush with leaves. See the purple flowers? That's the giveaway. There's one right there. That's a goji right there. That's a little flower. There's the leaf. Leaves are edible. The whole plant's edible. The great plants in the Arizona desert. All of a sudden, this kind of thing suddenly takes on real meaning because it's actually holy. It's that. I mean, what do people want more than anything? Is it love?
Compassion, respect, appreciation, devotion.
All that's wrapped up into a word, and that is reconnection to the sacred. Right? All appreciation, devotion, respect, integrity is all wrapped up in the sacred. What's sacred? And so our connection to the earth is sacred. Even if you're born in a hospital in New Jersey, you came from this earth. Your relationship with this earth is sacred. So you go out there and you have this kind of a thing, and it's an experience. It's worth doing. It will cause you to go, whoa, I'm going to actually stop the car. I'm going to go out to that lava field. I'm going to get those nonis. And I'm going to eat them. And I'm going to see what happens. And then food suddenly becomes something totally different than nacho cheese Doritos. Right? Where it's a shamanic initiation. It's like, whoa, this is like, it's opening dormant powers. We're in New York City. This is the other most powerful food, in my opinion, superfood. Cacao. New York City, 40,000 people coming through this door every single day. Busiest health food store in the world. Whole Foods. We're right there front center with cacao. People walking in. What are you doing? We're feeding people chocolate. What's that? This is cacao. What's cacao? It's what all chocolate's made out of. So we feeding them the chocolate nuts. This woman walks in right off the street. We said, hey, do you like chocolate? She said, yeah, I love chocolate. I said, have you ever had real chocolate? She said, yeah, I always eat real chocolate. And I'm like, no. Cacao, like what chocolate's made out of. And you know, all chocolate's made out of a nut. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that. 99% of the population out there has no idea that chocolate's made out of a nut. No concept whatsoever. But anyway, I was like, hey, this is the food that all chocolate's made out of. You want to try it? She said, yeah, I'll try it. So she puts it in her mouth. She starts chewing it up. I'm with this guy. This guy was like one of you. Right? You hear the stories, but you're like, that's not really happening. He's exaggerating to make us feel good. This was one of those kind of guys, right? So I spent the whole day with him, and we're looking for the signal that it's time to leave. This woman has a complete and total emotional breakdown, chewing cacao beans. Totally broke down, collapsed into my friend's arms, crying, weeping. That's how powerful that food is. That's how powerful that pill is, right? The red pill? Boom. You eat that and the whole illusion becomes apparent because you see, this is chocolate and I was sold that? That realization right there is unbelievable. Let alone tapping into the whole vibration of it. I wept and sobbed in this guy's arms for 10 minutes. After that, I'm like, okay, well, we got to get out of here. He's like, dude, that was crazy. That was insane. Just like wept uncontrollably, coming from an environment where you're totally disconnected from your emotions, right? Streets of New York City, totally disconnected. It's all walls and shields. And boom, that food cuts right through, cuts it right in half. Cacao, as I was saying, has the whole Mayan, Aztec, Toltec herbal system in it. Anyway, so I learned all that, the whole thing from cacao. This is a very powerful thing as well. How you learn things. How we are allowed to learn things. What are appropriate sources of information and what are subconsciously inappropriate sources of information. Therefore it doesn't exist, therefore we turned it off, therefore it's not there. Can you learn something from a plant? Yes, you can. Can you learn more from a plant in many cases than a human? Absolutely. So a plant can actually teach you immense amounts of information. More information than you can learn, for example, in a building called a school. And that inside certain plants is like library doors that are vastly wide open. Inside cacao is a whole alchemical library that just falls open. And you will suddenly realize, like you eat cacao and you try to combine it with like cabbage. No. You can't eat those together. You can't take cacao beans, crush them up into nibs, roll them up in a cabbage leaf and eat that and enjoy yourself. But, thank you. Oh my God, that's just what I needed. Awesome. So it will teach you that suddenly it goes good with mint. Mint and cacao go like crazy together, right? It will go super well with something like Amazonian herbs. But all of a sudden you start dumping African herbs into it and it's like, well, what's this? Because it's not from there. It knows all the herbs. It will tell you how to use it all. Superfood for children. Cacao goji berries. People say, can kids really eat that? I ate Fruit Loops and pasteurized, homogenized, glow-in-the-dark, pus-filled, blood-filled, chalk-filled, larvicide, fungicide, herbicide, suicide, genetically modified, hormonally altered milk. It makes you really wonder what our powers could be. If we had, maybe, I don't know, maybe that made us stronger. Nietzsche has a great quote. Nietzsche has a great quote that guides us every second of the day, and that is, it is by being wounded that power grows, and in the end can become tremendous. It is by being wounded that power grows, and in the end can become tremendous. Right? The doctor that heals themselves of the incurable disease suddenly becomes a very potent force.
Who said that?
Nietzsche. An unstoppable force. The doctor that heals themselves of an incurable disease suddenly becomes a very powerful force. So wounding is a lot of times one of the more powerful initiations we get in this life, because it will cause us to grow more than most things will. Food is a whole deal. It's a whole deal. This whole thing on what we're getting into with food and the best food ever and tapping into this whole thing, it's not going to lead you where you think it's going to lead you. Ultimately, it leads you to reconnecting with like those, those plant people who live in the Amazon. I mean, real plant people where they're like full on, like you look at them, you're like, whoa, man, that guy's like tripping. On who knows how many plant alkaloids. Where they're completely spiritually connected to the plant realm. Reconnection to the sacred. Why do people commit suicide? They're totally disconnected from what's real. Right? Why do people disconnect from what's real? It's the food. The food starts a cycle that causes disconnection. And we reconnect by getting back in that cycle. And it's also agricultural. Once we get back in the soil, if it's all mind going off all the time. People say, can I cure my cancer, or can I cure my diabetes, or can I cure my candida with raw food? It's like, and then it just keeps, the chatter keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And what the person really needs to be cured of is just being in their head. You see, so when I get it up here,